Hello, everyone. Okay, I would like to welcome you all for in this workshop titled "Academic Research the Real Way," hosted by the IDE Lab here in Prince Sultan University. And I would like to welcome our presenter, Dr. Jhaveri. Dr. Jhaveri, welcome, and give me the chance to give a brief bio and a brief background highlighting your achievements. Dr. Jhaveri, he will present our workshop. Dr. Jhaveri is a senior researcher in IEEE, is an experienced educator and researcher working in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering in the Bandit Energy University, Chandigarh, India. He conducted his postdoctoral research in Delta NTU Corporate Lab for Cyber Physical Systems, Nanyang Technological University, Singapore. Dr. Jhaveri completed his PhD in computer science and computer engineering in 2016. In 2017, he was awarded the prestigious Pedagogical Innovation Award by Gujarat Technological University. Currently, he is a co-investigating a funded project from GUG COST. He was ranked among top 2% scientists around the world in 2021. He has more than 2,100 Google Scholar citations with an H index of 23. Apart from serving as an editor, guest editor in various journals of repute, he also served as a reviewer in several international journals and conferences. Dr. Jhaveri authored more than 120 articles, including the IEEE ACM transactions and leading IEEE ACM conferences. Moreover, Dr. Jhaveri has several national and international patents, copyright to his name. He also possesses membership of various technical bodies such as ACM, CSI, ISTE, IDES, and others. He is the member of the advisory board in Symposium Institute of Digital and Telecom Management since 2021, and Sandeb University since 2022. He is an editorial board member in several Hindawi and Springer journals. He also served as a committee member in Smart Village Project, Government of Jugaad at the district level during the year 2017. Dr. Jhaveri, his research interests are SDN, network security resilience, IoT systems, and e-health. Welcome, Dr. Jhaveri, and the floor is yours, and I'll be at your help if you need anything. Go ahead. Sorry, doctor, we cannot hear you. Can you please? Okay, okay, go
Can
ahead.
you hear me now?
Yes, yes, we can hear you clearly. Clearly.
Okay. So thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, Professor. And I would also like to thank Dr. Khan for arranging this wonderful workshop. Uh, as I talked with Dr. Khan that this particular workshop is for young researchers who are going to start their research, in any field. So I hope that after this workshop, they would be on the right track to conduct the quality academic research. So with this, I hope that we can start now. I'm starting my presentation and sharing my screen. Please ping me if you are able to see my screen. Can you see my screen, Professor?
Yes, yes, doctor, we can see it.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're
So
welcome.
the title of the workshop is Academic Research the Real Way. So, as Professor introduced about me, that I have conducted my postdoc from NTU Singapore, and I have few good publications in transactions as well. Right now, I am serving as editorial boards in several journals and also research advisory board in several institutes, including SITTM. So this is about me. I'm talking about the outline of this workshop, why we should write and why we should publish a paper. So that is a big question. Second, how to determine the research topic. What should be the structure of a research paper and what should be the structure of a review paper? How should be the language and style? What an editor looks for in your paper? Which are the tools which can add to the quality of representation of your manuscript? Talking about plagiarism, we can use some tools for plagiarism check. Identifying a good journal or good conference is a big task. Increasing your citations and H index, we all as a professors, we always seek for increasing citations and H index. Also, project patent and copyrights, they are important in academic research. How to build your professional network, and we'll also go through some important skills for being a quality researcher. So first question first, why we should write and publish? We can definitely interact during the session. If anybody wants to answer, they can raise hand, they can answer it. Okay. So for me, first reason for writing or publishing a paper is the strong desire to contribute to the advancement in their field. It may be computer science, it may be chemical, it may be anything. So publication is usually the most straightforward way to make such a contribution and show the authentication, maybe to the colleagues or to your management. Publishing can also bring substantial benefits to an author, say career advancement, promotion, direct or indirect monetary rewards. Now, these all are part of this game, right? Also, it may be a mandatory requirement. So, as a part of maybe a graduation course, maybe MS in research or PhD dissertation, these three are the main motives for writing or publishing a paper. The biggest question is how to determine a topic. And if you cannot determine a good topic, remember that there are many PhD guys who have left their PhD in between due to this particular reason. Because they were unable to determine a good topic and there were some mismatch between their supervisor and themselves. So it is vital to determine a good research topic. So first thing is to brainstorm some research topics of interest. So for me, say my topic of interest, it may be artificial intelligence. I am a computer guy, right? So my research topic may be artificial intelligence. And what we can do with artificial intelligence? Maybe I want to solve a problem in healthcare. Okay, so I'm selecting a topic, a broad topic, artificial intelligence for healthcare. Right? This is my passion. This is where I want to get my research. Now, what is the next step? I have determined the broad topic. Now, what should be the next step? The next step should be to read the background thoroughly. Read the background thoroughly about artificial intelligence in healthcare. Maybe the recent papers in your field. Okay. So read the background and then you can get super specific. Now, what do you mean by super specific? I have selected a topic called AI for healthcare. Now I want to get super specific because in my PhD, I need to get a particular direction. So what I'll choose is, for example, explainable AI for lung cancer detection. This is my super specific topic. Explainable AI for lung cancer detection because I'm interested in that. Now this is how we can get super specific. Then the question arises how to draw the research question. So the research question here would be how we can uh, detect lung cancer with explainable AI. This is our broad research question, and there may be many other sub questions inside, right? But this is the research question that we need to solve here. This is our problem. And finally, we have to do in-depth research on this particular topic, maybe with Google Scholar and other literature. So, after this selection of the problem, we should now move to, after some research, we will now move to the research paper and what should be the general structure of a research paper. And remember that most of the research papers, I would say around 70 to 80% of the research papers, they are rejected just due to one of these reasons. So first thing, abstract. So usually there are many people who write very short abstract or very long abstract. Remember that the abstract should be brief enough. It may be around 150, 200 or 250 words, not more than that. It should be very strong. It should contain the precise problem statement. Okay. It must contain precise problem statement. Along with that, it should contain the research method as well as design in brief. Then it should include the research findings of your work. And finally, we can write the short conclusions that we reached. Right? These are the 6 sub-steps that we should include in abstract. Next one is about selecting keywords and index terms. Most of us think that selecting keywords or index terms is very easy. Just take some keywords from your abstract or title and we will select the keywords or index terms. No, it's not the way. Why? Because keywords are essential for filtering the overwhelming amount of resources available. We know that why keywords are used. They are used for filtering the overwhelming amount of resources available on Google, right? So, do you think that this keyword should contain any word of the title? It should not. It should not. Okay. So, how we should select the keywords that we will discuss now. So, we should balance. Avoid too many single words, say IoT, avoid such kind of single words, if possible. There can be some, but not much. So avoid too many single words unless it's necessary, and avoid too many words also. So many words may overfilter your article. How your article.
Hello? Doctor, can you hear me? We cannot hear you.
AI, I may use some specific term, say explainable machine learning or explainable deep learning. Okay, that can be used, but not the same word. Right. Second thing, avoid overlapping keywords in your title. So, for example, here the title of the paper is Fault Resilience for Bandwidth Management in Industrial Software Defined Networks. Now, for this particular title or paper, which keywords I have used in IEEE transactions paper is uh, contract based methodology, right? Contract based methodology which we have used in solving the problem. And instead of fault resilience, what we have written is fault tolerance. Here we have written software defined networks, I have written here SDN. And as we are having industrial networks with us, so instead of that, what I have done is we have used industry 4.0. So these are some of the ideas. We should not overlap the keywords. So selecting keywords and index terms is vital. Okay, next one is introduction. What should we write? Again, there must be six parts in introduction. First, introduce the problem. We have to introduce the problem in the first paragraph. Second is to discuss the existing solutions in the second paragraph. In the third paragraph, we will identify the research gaps in the existing solutions. And in the fourth, we will discuss the methodology to address the gaps. Okay, these are first four paragraphs of our introduction. 5 and 6 always will be the major contributions of your work. You should list 1, 2, 3, 4, which are the contributions of your work. And number 6 is the paper organization. What the section 2 contains, section 3 contains, section 4 contains, and section 5 concludes the work, for example. So these are the 6 parts of introduction section. Talking about related work, again, many good papers, even they do not write this section. And this is again very important section. Otherwise, how will you prove that you have performed thorough literature review? So related work section is very important, and in which you have to include state of the art only quality papers. In my when I was 10 years younger, at that time I made many mistakes in writing the state of the art papers. The references I took were pretty average. Now remember that when we are submitting to a good journal, the references or citations should be very good. So usually what we should prefer is high impact factor journals, and mostly IEEE elsewhere spin journals. Okay, so refer state of the art only. Identify the benefits as well as limitations of each of the work. After, say, referring 10 or 12 good papers, we can, in the last paragraph, write how we are going to overcome the limitations that we have already discussed. And finally, we can create a table of summary. Depends upon how many journal pages are allowed, how many pages are allowed in your paper. Okay, in transactions they won't allow 8 to more than 8 to 12 pages, so you need to create a table of summary if you have uh, the page limit maybe 12 plus. Then we will discuss the proposed scheme in section 3. This general structure, you can obviously change the structure, but this is a general structure. The proposed scheme is your own work. And remember that to the action of your paper. We should outline the novelty for addressing the identifier in the first paragraph. And then we should start the research approach with research methods. You can include the diagram, self-explanatory diagram. It may be a block diagram, a flow diagram, or sequence diagram. This is very important to include in your third section. And then we should discuss the diagram. Now, how many of you think that mathematics is very important part of any research paper? I would like to see the answers from you. If you feel mathematics is very important part in your research paper, can anybody tell me? If you are allowed. Okay, Dr. Devi Jani says that it is very important part. Okay, anybody else? I would like you to write your answers in chat boxes. Jani says that it's important in model making. Yes, it is. Not very important, somebody says. Now we have two answers, two different answers. So again, it depends. It depends upon your work. See, if my work in my PhD, it didn't have much mathematics, even though I have published some good papers. So it is not necessary to write mathematics all the time. Yes, if you are dealing with some cryptographic approaches, you need to write mathematics. But I was dealing with some non-cryptographic approaches. So for me, mathematics was not that important. And if you forcefully introduce mathematics in your paper, there are big chances of the paper to get rejected. So do not write the equations which are obvious. Write those things which are your real contributions, right? So mathematics is important in the paper, the work it's really needed. Otherwise, please don't write mathematics force in your. Next section is results and analysis, in which we will compare our work with some recent existing work. Okay, we should compare our work with recent existing. Otherwise, it won't get accepted in transactions level. And of course, IEEE transactions or ACM transactions, they usually want hardware results, real world results. Okay, usually. Again, it depends upon the reviewer. Apart from that, we need quality graphs. We'll discuss how to draw quality graphs. So it should include quality graphs. Not only that, you should not summarize the graph. Remember that. Most of us summarize the results in the graphs. Our work is not to summarize. Our work is to analyze the graphs, to analyze the results, why it's happening, why the curve is exponential. You should analyze the result, not just summarize. Alright. And the next section or the last section is conclusion and future work. Again, conclusions is not the summary. In many papers I've seen, I've reviewed around 200 papers, and I could see that in the conclusion, usually they replicate abstract. Now, this is not a real way. This is not the real way. Conclusion should conclude your work. What are your real contributions after your work on simulator or on hardware? That you should write in the conclusion. Also, you should include the limitations of your work. Many people are scared about writing the limitation of your work. They feel that the paper will get rejected. It's not like that. limitations of your work should be mentioned in the conclusion. It shows that your work is authentic. Apart from that, we should include future work or future directions so that other researchers around the world can get the direction how to improve the work. Right? So these are three important points in the conclusion and future work section. What's remaining now? Acknowledgements, very important subsection. So here what we'll do it should be very short and sweet section. We should acknowledge the project or funders, acknowledge the organization where research is conducted, and acknowledge the other parties who have helped. Right? References. Only right references should be added. We should not add all the references for making the paper or making the page length more. Include only the selective right references. Only include the quality references as I discussed. And journals like CMC or Tech Science, there are many journals, they reject your paper just because you have not written the references as per journal style. So, write the references as per the journal style. Can anybody tell what's missing now? Or all things are discussed? Anything is missing? Can you write in the chat box? Do you feel that anything is missing? Quality diagrams that we have discussed, Dr. Chan. Anything else? I'm asking about any section or anything that is missing, starting from abstract index term to references. Maybe a section where all the contents are listed, Dr. Gori. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what's missing is the title. We haven't discussed about the title, right? What I usually do is I can write the tentative title, but after finishing the whole work, whole paper, I will write the title of the paper. Okay, so title again is very important. There are many papers in which we can see longer title, maybe some, 30, 40 words. Sometimes it's not necessary. Again, as I discussed, title is very useful in filtering your article. So choose a title which is simple and it shows your work, it shows your method which is included in your work. So selecting a good title is very important. Now this was about the technical paper. Now we will discuss about a review paper. So first thing is the title. Select a timely topic. If I need to write a paper at this point of time, I'll focus on maybe XAI or Web 3.0 or Metaverse, right? These are the emerging areas in computer science. So I'll select such kind of keyword in my title. If you write any review paper, which the reviews have already been done, what's the use of that kind of review paper? It won't get good citations. Remember that. Usually we write review papers for getting good citations. But in this case, we won't get good citations. Now selecting keywords is again vital. Then introduction, then state of the art. And we should include one more section here called applications. Okay. So what this section should include is the motivation for the application. For example, the application is smart manufacturing. Why we should use XAI in smart manufacturing? So that is the motivation. Then how the technology can help for the application. How XAI can help for smart manufacturing. And then we can summarize the application from different aspects. For example, XAI for security in the or computation power or latency in smart manufacturing. Now this is about one application, smart manufacturing. Then we can go for another application in the same section, maybe XAI for smart farming, okay, or smart education, or smart governance. So these all applications should be included in this section if you are writing a review paper on XAI, including ongoing projects in the world that we should add as a separate section, which are the ongoing projects of XAI, or which are the real world implementations of XAI, or which are the use cases of XAI in real world. That should be included in this section. Next, and the most important section is challenges, open issues, and future directions. Now, this is your particular section. These all sections can be written from the sources, from internet or other literature, but this is your own section. Challenges, open issues, and future directions. You should write the challenges, okay, which are the open issues in XAI, which are the future directions in XAI. This is your section, and you should make it bigger and better. And finally, we will conclude our review paper. So this is a general structure of a review paper. Now, remember that while writing a review paper, we should include statistics, some good figures, and tables containing the summary of whole section. This is very important. What should be the paper length? What should be the paper length of a review paper? Anybody can say? What should be the length? And how many references should be there? 20 pages? Okay. 30 references? Under 10 pages, I guess, Dr. Gori. Okay. So there is no particular limitation. Okay. If you have comprehensive review, then it can be of, I have seen many papers around 50 to 70 pages. Okay. Maybe around 300 to 500 references. And there are also some papers, the review papers, all review papers in good journals, which are of just 7 to 8 pages. So it depends. Okay. So this is about the general structure of a review paper. Now let me show our review paper so that you can get idea about the review paper. This is our review paper. I hope that you can see. This is on archive clipping. This is our review paper. The title was XAI for cyber security, state of the art, challenges, open issues, and future direction. Right now, it is under review in CSUR. It is one of the topmost journals in computer science, CSU. Right? So it's under review. Hope for the best. And as you can see that this is the abstract, short and sweet. Then introduction. I'm just going through it. Okay, acronyms and description. How AI can help in cybersecurity. And then we'll go to XAI. Limitations of AI. That necessitates XAI is used in cybersecurity. Why XAI should be used instead of AI in cybersecurity, right? This is the diagram, and for diagram you need to learn some tools. Now, how XAI can help? 1.3 section in this is section 1 only, okay, and these are the contributions of our work. To summarize, these are the specific contributions of our. Then you can see these diagrams are very important. Then background and motivation, some tables are there, discussion on cyber attacks, again some figures, types of cyber attacks. Then we have discussed XAI frameworks. Okay, some XAI frameworks are Shape, Line, ELI5, Scatter, Galax, ALE. So these frameworks are discussed here, and 2.5 is the motivation to integrate XAI for cybersecurity. Again, there are some subsections inside that. Again, you can see the importance of figure in a review paper. Then application section, as I discussed. So XAI for cybersecurity in smart healthcare, then for smart banking, and there are many more applications of XAI that we can discuss here, right? Then we are moving to another section, that is research projects. So these are the research projects for feature cloud. Again, you can see the table. Spatial, blue hexagon, hexnet, lemma. So these are the projects, ongoing projects for XAI in cybersecurity. And these are the challenges, open issues, and future direction section. This is your section. Again, I am emphasizing on the fact, and you should make it very strong. So this is our section, and finally the conclusion. What we usually do is we should, leave some gaps in our paper so that the reviewer can identify those gaps, and during the revisions we can fully focus on addressing those gaps, right? So this is about writing a review paper. Now, how many references are there? Let me check. It's around 111 references in this review paper. Okay. So moving back. What about language and style? You know that a bad language means paper rejection, desk rejection. Also, if there is no uniformity of writing style, it will be rejected. As my paper, the paper has around 8 to 9 authors. Now everybody has their different writing style, right? What we usually do, we make one guy as the leader of the paper, and after different guys write different sections, the leader will normalize the paper to make things uniform. So uniformity is very important in any kind of paper. Also, we should avoid ambiguous, imprecise, or vague words such as etc. or various or some. These words should be avoided. Also, we should not use wordy expressions. For example, despite the fact that, don't write such lengthy term. Instead, you can just write although. Okay, so don't try to increase the paper length by doing such things. Make it short and sweet and solid. Also, we should limit the use of abbreviations in our paper. Avoid contractions like doesn't, haven't, replace it by does not, have not, cannot. Develop a paragraph in a systematic way. Be consistent in text. Again, this is the work for the team leader or the leader of the paper to normalize the thing. Simple present tense, or you can use perfect present tense. It's upon you, but it should be uniform throughout the paper. Transitions between paragraphs is very important. If you are watching a movie and suddenly one song comes up, you will be shocked. There must be some transition between the paragraphs so that the paragraph can be connected to the previous. Similarly, the sentences in a paragraph should be linked with each other. Okay. Avoid complex statements. You cannot write a statement with three or four lines. Okay. Try to make it very simple instead of making it complex. While you are writing the paper, not for yourself, you are writing the paper for readers who will read your paper. So it should be understandable and readable. Also, we should eliminate the redundancies in the paper, if any. Now, this is the editor. What he looks for in your paper. So, first thing he looks is the scope. Whether the paper is in the scope of the journal, if not, test reject. Second, you will check the quality of your work by skimming through your paper. You will check the quality of science experiments, results, and analysis. Also, you will check the figures, language styles, tables, equations. You will check these all things by skimming through it. Then you will check the novelty, which are the major contributions of the work. What is the novel theory? What is the new design in this work? Which are the new methods, new analysis, new models in this work? If yes, then he can move ahead and check the significance. How many people will read the paper? How many readers will read the paper and put the conveyed knowledge to use in the industry? So these four things can be checked by the editor of the journal. Which are the tools that can be used to add the quality of representation? So we can always use latex. It is not pronounced as latex. Usually people pronounce it as latex. It is latex. And why latex then? So text in latex documents looks more refined and polished due to iterative typesetting algorithms to determine the optimal layout of the text and floating elements like figures and tables. Those who have used latex, they know how latex is completely different from Word. The output is completely different from Word. So from today, I would rather emphasize you all guys to use latex instead of Word. And you have Overleaf, which is free, which is online latex editor for collaborative project. So it is free and works on all operating systems, ease of typesetting of complex mathematical formulas, automatic generation of bibliographies, automatic generation of section numbers, figure numbers. There are many advantages of LaTeX, and that's why we should use LaTeX in our work. So as you can see here, this is Overleaf. Okay, you can use this overleaf.com. You can register if you have not and start your collaborative project on this LaTeX. Do not use Word. That's what I can suggest you. Right? You can use Overleaf from now onwards. So this is the difference between Word and LaTeX. You can see that this is the Word file. The same one is written in LaTeX, and you can see the vast difference between these two. You can use and check the difference. Similarly, this is the Word table in the Word, figures in the Word, and these are tables and figures in LaTeX. There is a huge difference in the output. That's why I insist you to use overleaf instead. So, which are the drawing tools we should use? As you have seen in our paper, there are some interesting figures, and for those figures, we have used either Microsoft Visio, okay, for especially for flow diagrams. Also, there is draw.io, okay, and for drawing graphs and other interesting diagrams, you can always use Origin. It's a licensed version, but you can either purchase it. Okay, so these are the three drawing tools that we use for adding quality to our diagrams, to our graphs, to our flowcharts. Usually, editors prefer diagrams of 300 dpi. Okay, again, this is the difference. You can see this is the figure drawn with Excel and this is the figure drawn with Origin. Okay, there is a vast difference between these two. We all know Grammarly. Why we should use Grammarly? So Grammarly should be used for comprehensive writing. It assists us in comprehensive writing. It checks grammar, spellings, punctuation, and other things. And now it uses artificial intelligence to identify and search for an appropriate replacement for the particular word. Okay. Then it enhances the readability of the work by giving you some suggestions. So this is why we should use Grammarly. This is the output of Grammarly. You can check that there are some suggestions in our paper, 73 suggestions. Now it depends upon us. We should accept these all suggestions or accept some of them. It depends. Okay, you can accept all or you can check it one by one. You can check here that it has given us overall score of 66 out of 100. Consistency, there are 04 alerts. Clarity, it's mostly clear. Right? So it gives some kind of matrix and it will definitely improve your paper. Talking about plagiarism, what is the definition of plagiarism in Wiki? So what Wiki says is plagiarism is the representation of another author's language, thoughts, ideas, or expressions as one's own original work. So plagiarism is considered as a violation of academic integrity and breach of journalistic ethics, and that is why everyone should have some plagiarism detecting software. So how to counter it? You should never copy any phrases or figures or tables. Draw your own figures, draw your own tables, write your own phrases after understanding that particular paragraph for that work, and then you can cite that work. So clearly understand the idea of the source and use your own word and own style. Even when using own words, you should cite the source. Okay. Now talking about plagiarism checker. So turn it in. The most widely used software in the world is Turnitin for plagiarism check. It empowers researchers to do original work. Also, it uses state-of-the-art AI algorithms. It addresses integrity by checking even sophisticated potential misconduct in your work. So if you are submitting a paper somewhere, first check it with Turnitin so that we cannot, uh, we cannot get into some legal things. So we should first check our paper, our work with Turnitin, and then you can submit. Also, it will check that how many percentage of this work is copied or show some copy, whether it's 10% or 15% or 50%. Usually, good journals they expect maximum 15% of plagiarism, uh, not more than that. And also, in the plagiarism, they expect less than 1% from each and every source. If you have one source with 3 or 5% plagiarism, then again you should reduce the plagiarism from that particular source. Okay. It also improves the writing skills by providing instant feedback where we write. It may give you real-time feedback and it generates similarity reports to ensure the revisions prior to final submission. So you can see that this is our paper and it has given the plagiarism 8%. Now 8% is good, right? But from a single source, it has given 2%. Now this is again we should correct. Instead of 2%, we should make it less than 1%. Less than 1% is ideal, as you can see here, right? Can anybody tell me how we can identify journal? How we can identify journal? As direct search. Okay, that's it. Anybody else? Okay, let me. So first, we should identify the scope of the journal, whether the scope of our paper matches the journal scope or not. Secondly, indexing, as you say, Dr. Jan, whether it's SCI, Scopus, DPLP, Inspect, PubMed, what's the indexing and abstracting of the journal is the second. Another thing is impact factor, which measures the importance of a journal by calculating the frequency with which the average article in a journal has been cited in a particular year. There may be some fake impact factors, as you could have seen in many websites, and there are original impact factors, right? So we should identify. Again, there is another criteria: free versus open access. If you have funding, you can go for open access journals, but if you have limited funding, you should go for free journals, subscription based journals. Okay, this is again interesting question. Whether we should go for transactions or we should go for SCI journals. Anybody? Transactions or SCI journals? Transactions without SCI or a journal with SCI? Anybody? You can write down in the chat box. What you will prefer? Will you prefer ACM transactions, IEEE transactions without SCI, or will you prefer Springer, a journal with SCI index? SCI. Okay. With SCI and transactions, no, I'm giving you two options only. First option is transactions without SCI. Second is no transactions but SCI. So again, you can see that it is a confusing thing. What my supervisor during my postdoctorate at NTU, he told me that if SCI is not a requirement for your promotion or something else, you should always go for transactions, ACM or IEEE transactions. Even though if it doesn't have any indexing, you should go for transactions always. This is what he said, and I now believe that he was true. Transactions has more impact than anything else. Okay, if you have some criteria for promotion for CAS, you can go for SCI journals. Otherwise, you can always go for transactions. Okay. Now, we should always go to MJL, Master Journal List, for checking whether our journal is indexed in ISI or SCI or ESCI. Go to MJL. Okay, let me open it. Master Journal List. So this is MJL. I hope that you can see my screen. So if I want to check any journal, I'll go here and suppose there is a journal named Wireless Networks. Whether it's there in SCI or ESCI or any ISI in Web of Science. So I'll just check, and I have found one result that there is a journal called Wireless Networks, publisher is Pinger. Okay, this is the ISSN EISSN number. In Web of Science, you can see that it's SCI expanded. Also, there are some additional Web of Science indices like this. So you can always go to Master Journal List, MJL, for checking it. Alright. Identifying conference. Again, I have published in many conferences without knowledge. Okay. So I want you guys not to repeat this mistake. All IEEE major elsewhere conferences are good. Do you think so? It's not always. It's not always. So what you can do is you can check for ranked conferences from core ranking. Ranked conferences from core ranking. There is a website you can search in Google core ranking, and you will find this one. Okay. Now there is one search. I'll write RTCSA. So RTCSA is the conference name. I'll check whether it exists here or not in the core ranking. Yes, it exists. It's the acronym RTCSA of International Conference on Embedded and Real-Time Computing Systems and Applications. And it's ranked B here. Okay, it's ranked B here. Again, you can check whether a conference globe.com, whether it's there in the core ranking. If it is there, then you will see here that globe.com is there, ranked B. Okay, if you write something else, and it will say that no results for this conference. So if it is not in the core ranking, still if you want to publish you can, but this core ranking is for the researchers who want to target high quality conferences, and there are some categories like A star, okay, A and B and B1, C and Australasian C. So these are some of the categories in which these conferences are ranked. And if it is listed here, you can go for this according to your priority. If you want to go for A star, search for those journals only. So remember that not all conferences are of good quality. So just check whether it's in core ranking. Does it have reputed universities as partners like Harvard or Stanford? Okay, involvement of the government is there, of the local government. What is the quality of organizing committee? You can check the organizing committee from the website of that conference, and you can see the Google Scholar profile or other profiles, and you can check how good is the conference. Also, you can check which are the keynote speakers speaking in this conference. Are they top class? What is the history of these conferences? This is 36 conferences, 50 conferences, or first conference. You can check the history of past conferences. Moving on to another important factor for academic research is how to increase your citations. So, first thing, as I told you, that carefully choose the keywords. Keywords are very important. Also, use consistently in all your papers. Suppose my name is Rutvij Jhaveri, right? And I am writing Rutvij Jhaveri in one paper. In second paper, I am writing Rutvij Jhaveri. The third paper, I am writing R. It won't help. Use consistent name in all the papers. Consider getting researcher ID or ID from this website. Okay, go to Orchid and get your researcher ID and put it everywhere in your new papers. Add preprint on archive or other repositories, maybe GitHub. So you can add preprint. You can make your manuscript easily accessible either through open access or post publication repository such as GitHub. You can see that most of the are on GitHub. In my paper, I always put it so that it is easily like all the researchers around the world, even if it's not open access. Also, you should share your data. Link your work with Wiki. Wiki allows you to link your work. Right? If I'm writing a paper on XAI, you can link your XAI work with that Wiki link. Use social media such as ResearchGate and LinkedIn. Promote your work through conferences, through communities, and write more review articles for increasing citations. You can see that one of my review articles, you know, I, I, I don't know how, but it cost more than 320 citations. Okay, it didn't have anything extraordinary inside. Now, what do you believe about self-citations? I mean, citing your own papers in your next paper. Do you think that it's ethical? How many of you think that it's ethical? Cite your own paper in your next paper. Do you think that it's ethical or unethical? It is not ethical as per Dr. Jani. Okay. Anybody else? Well, let me show you one clip then. I'm I'm inclined towards a sport called cricket, and let me now show you this video. And please tell me whether it's ethical, unethical, legal, illegal. Question: at the time of delivery, does he just stop waiting for it to go out? This is what happens. This is a reaction. Kings 11 Punjab versus Rajasthan Royals. So what was that? Whatever it may be, he was fired. The thing is that you can self-cite your papers if it is not related. If it is related, you can definitely cite your works. Why not? So if people say you that you should not self-cite your work, I don't believe in that. Okay. Again, another important point: how to increase your H index. Well, in that case, the first thing you should check is the definition. What is the definition of H index? Maximum H that author or journalist at least as was that have each cited at least as time. It means that I have 23 papers which have been cited at least 3 times. So for increasing your H index, you should check which papers are not yet cited and why. You should go through. You should analyze your Google Scholar on regular basis. Also, you should collaborate with mature researchers along with some researchers. Okay, you should continuously looking at which are cited below your H index and analyze patterns in your field. A big concern which papers are being cited nowadays. Nowadays, as you know, AI ML papers are cited, but now blockchain, XAI, Web3, semantic web, this is the pattern nowadays. So analyze the pattern and include such keywords in your paper, in your work. You can consider open access journals if you have funding. It will definitely increase your H index. Power to promote. It's not only responsibility to promote your work, but also encourage your co-authors to promote the work. So this is how we can increase the H index. Apart from paper, there are also some important publications such as or important things in research as a young researcher, such as project or patent or copyright. So what is a research project? We all know, but writing a good proposal, it takes some sweating. And if we get some funding, it includes the cost of the research staff, salary, associated research costs like equipments, conference traveling fees, registration fees, and all things. For maybe if you want to collaborate between India and Saudi Arabia, I think Asian India funds are there. Also in India, if some of the guys are from India, there are DST, AICT, CSIR, DRDO, ICSSR, NISSAP, Gujcos, various ministries, international bodies such as ACM, Cisco, these all support project funding. So go for it. Talking about IPR, patent filing is the preliminary step an inventor initiates to protect his or her invention from being misused. And the most prestigious patent is US patent in the world. And there are many other patents, but US patent is the most prestigious patent. There are three types of patents: utility, design, and plat. That can be discussed in a separate workshop. Also, copyrights are there. Copyright for maybe computer programs or software which prohibits copying of program structure and design. So you can go for project, patent, and copyright to increase your reputation in the world. Building the network. How to build a professional network. Participate in the top conferences. Remember the top conferences that I'm talking about. Movicom, Globecom, ICC. These are top conferences. IEEE, SNP if you are a security researcher. So go for top conferences. Serve as a reviewer in top journals and top conferences. Serve as TPC member in good conferences. Serve as editor in reputed journals. I'm always using reputed noun top, right? So do not go for average journals or conferences. Propose special issues in quality journals if you have good profile now. Participate in the discussion on ResearchGate and post your quality works on LinkedIn. Give expert talks such as this. I am sure that 2 or 3 people will now approach me, right, for future collaboration. So this is the way to go. This is the last slide. Which are the other important skills that a researcher can get? So invest in yourself. You should have good writing skill. You should be humble and open to criticism. If you are working with a PI, okay, you should be able to listen, not always talk. Be humble and open to criticism, always. Being self disciplined and enthusiastic throughout the tenure. Sharing your knowledge always will increase your knowledge. Work hard, not only that, work smart also. Have your goals clear. Having a good research plan. What is the 6 month plan, 1 year plan, 2 years plan, 3 years plan is very important for a researcher. Step out of your comfort zone. If you stay in your comfort zone, you won't get upgraded and you will be thrown out of this research community. So you should always step out of your comfort zone. Okay. Time management is very important. Time management in terms of keeping your work and professional life balance and personal life. Okay. So keep your life balanced. Not only research, not only teaching, you should make balanced life, personal and professional, and keep yourself updated in this era of computer science in this 21st century. So this is all about how to conduct a quality research. This is my way. You can have different ways, you can go for different ways, but this is the way that I adopt to for getting my papers published in good journals and getting good citations. This is my email. You can always contact me anytime. Thank you so much. If you have any question, you can ask.
Thank you, Dr. Jhaveri. Now we will take any questions if someone have a question for the doctor.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Fokker. If there is any question, we can go for it.
There's a question, Doctor, from Dr. Manachi asked in the chat. Can we have the slides, please, Doctor?
Okay. Uh, I cannot see the question.
It's Dr. Manal.
Dr. Manan,
Manal.
can you unmute yourself? Manan, can you unmute yourself?
Dr. Manal, can you hear us?
Yes, I am here. I'm asking about the slides. We can get it, please.
Okay. I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't think there is any question. There is any, you can always contact on my LinkedIn or on my email. Thank you, Aida Lev and Dr. Khan and ma'am for allowing me to. Yes, Dr. Fokker has a question. I want to ask about how we can be a we can be a reviewer or editor. Uh, well, you can. There are many journals. They want reviewers. They are not getting enough reviewers, so you can check those websites, some Hindavi journals, some Indian journals as well. But for that, you should have some average profile. Being an editor, again, you should have some good profile and high number of citations. So yes, also you can ask some of your good friends. You can contact me if you want to be a reviewer in Hindavi or in the journals. I can help in that case. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am, Dr. Khan and Ajaleb. I am very grateful for this opportunity.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you for presenting this valuable guidelines and notes. It was very informative. Really, I learned a lot today. Thank you very much, Doctor.
And thank you so much. See you guys.
Thank